This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. The National Robotics Competition was held with the Marion Amateur Radio Club at the Marion, Ohio Fairgrounds. According to Tad Deuce, the director of events, they had 1,400 participants registered and 450 robots. With spectators, there were at least 2,000 attending the event. Amazing to see the enthusiasm and skills the participants displayed. On Saturday, Fred, KF8WT, the president of the Marion Amateur Radio Club, had a table set up showing off ham radio to the attendees. What a great way to introduce the wonderful world of amateur radio. A big win for amateur radio operators in Indiana. Indiana Governor Mike Braun just signed House Bill 1152 into law, and starting July 1st, 2026, HOAs in Indiana will no longer have the power to restrict your antennas, towers, and feed lines, whether you rent, lease, or own your property inside an HOA community. You are protected. This is a massive step forward for the amateur radio community. For years, hams have been fighting HOA battles just to get on the air from their own homes. Unfortunately, the law only applies to HOAs formed after June 30th, 2026. So if your HOA already has existing restrictions on the book, those are still in play for now. But this is sure a major step forward. Congratulations to the Amateur Radio Community Services Club of Paintsville, Kentucky. The club received recognition from Floyd County Judge Executive Paul Burchett for providing support during the winter storms this past January. This is what amateur radio is all about, serving the community in a time of need. Great job. As the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club prepares for their new and improved field day experience better than ever before, they've reached out to Ham Radio Prep and arranged to share the following savings code of 10% on all their product. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club is hoping this will help out people who may be interested in amateur radio and yet to obtain their license, find a method for them to study and get their license, and Ham Radio Prep will give them a 10% discount on the price of their materials. Also, those already licensed might take advantage of the discount for the World Radio League logging product. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club is sharing the discount code with everyone who might be interested. Just use the code NKARC when checking out and have fun. Thanks, NKARC. The new website for the Kentucky section, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, working out really, really well. If you have not checked it out, I highly encourage you to go to kyares.org. Also, if you are into Discord, there is a Kentucky Ham Radio Discord channel. There are already over 100 Kentucky hams who are on it. If you're interested in checking it out, go to the invitation, go to discord.gg/J9BXVZARG5. With the usual crazy spring weather, it is important for all amateurs to be weather aware, and a nice addition to help you keep up with the weather happenings when things get dicey is the Kentucky Severe Storm Weather Net. It's held on XLX 721 Alpha Multi-Mode Communications Network. The net is now held every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This gives you a chance to check in and make sure your equipment is working so that when the storm hits, you'll be ready. There are multiple ways to connect to this multi-mode communications network. If you have one of the M1KE devices, just connect to XLX 721 Alpha. For DMR, connect your hotspot or connect the repeater to Brandmeister Talk Group 3121232. For C4FM radios, connect your hotspot to YSF Reflector 51149. There are two ways to connect to the network by D-Star. Either connect to DCS 721 Alpha or connect to REF 056 Alpha. For Echolink, connect to KY4RW-L. This allows everyone to communicate with each other regardless of the mode you're using, and you can hear everyone regardless of what mode they're on. It's a really neat system, and it's up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except for the Echolink, which is only active for the net. So check it out anytime. Thanks to Ray, KY4RW, and Larry, NN4H, for this neat system. Are you interested in keeping up with the weather, including space weather information which affects radio propagation? Well, you just might consider signing up for the National Weather Service Interactive Mobile Alerting System. With this website, you sign up for text or email or both alerts for your area. You can select the events you want to be alerted for. Mine is set up to notify me for space weather conditions where the K-index is high, as well as the usual regular weather alert. To learn more or to set it up, go to inws.ncep.noaa.gov. The ARRL America 250 Worked All States operating event continues with each state having 2 weeks of using W1AW call with their call sign district. This week from April 22nd through April 28th is Iowa W1AW/0 and Wisconsin W1AW/9. April 29th through May 5th is New Hampshire W1AW/1, South Dakota W1AW/0, and Pennsylvania W1AW/3. So listen out for these Worked All States opportunities. For more information on this event, go to ARRL.org/America250-WAS. The Kentucky section hosted WNAW/4 for the ARRL America 250 event the week of March 18th through 24th and did well, working over 4,000 QSOs, worked from 7 different ARRL affiliated clubs in Kentucky. The second section of Kentucky operating will be September 9th through the 15th, and make sure your club reaches out to affiliate club coordinator Steve Morgan, W4NHO, who will sign your club up. This is a great event for your club to participate in. Ohio operators will have 2 opportunities to activate W1AW/8 as part of the year-long ARRL America 250 operation. The first starts May 6th through the May 12th, and the second starts on August 12th through the 18th. You can apply for time slots by submitting an online form at tiny.cc/W1AW8-APP. If accepted, you will receive a confirmation email. Later, you'll receive a complete operating information and access to online schedule of time slots. A pre-event training session will be held via Zoom, and if needed, assistance will be provided on setting up your computer logging software. The Voice of America Museum of Broadcasting, in conjunction with the Westchester Amateur Radio Club, has announced expanded museum hours for the Dayton Hamvention 2026. They'll be open Thursday, May 14th, Friday, May 15th, and Saturday, May 16th from noon to 9 p.m., and Sunday, May 17th from noon to 5 p.m. If you're interested in radio, history, or broadcasting, I highly recommend you visiting the museum. It's just a short drive south of the Hamvention and is a great piece of radio history and the home of the Westchester Amateur Radio Club station. Check it out. For more information, go to voamuseum.org. The Ohio NVIS Day is April 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This uses special antenna configurations to exercise near vertical incident skywave propagation, a way to communicate further than VHF and UHF, but remain regional instead of global, a method of emergency and other communications to, say, Indianapolis or Columbus using HF frequencies while avoiding the international traffic. Many local ham radio clubs will have special activities for this event. For more information on the event, go to ARRL-ohio.org/NVIS. The Queen City Emergency Net will operate on the Ohio NVIS event on the 25th of April from 9:30 a.m. to mid-afternoon. They invite anyone interested in NVIS communications to come on out to the W8VND site in Finneytown, Ohio. They plan to have several NVIS antennas set up with rigs to operate, and they also encourage you to bring your own rig or NVIS antenna out to the event if you would like to test it. For more information, contact M. Rhodes, N8MCR, at 513-238-8638. On April 25th at 6 p.m., the Monix Group will be meeting at the McCauley's Pub, 6750 Fields Erdel Road in Sharonville, Ohio. Everyone is invited. Only ask if you're going to RSVP with Rod, KJ4IAM, by emailing him at rtv1130@aol.com. You've heard about the 2026 Field Day activities, June 27th to 28th, from the Okine Amateur Radio Society and the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club, well, the Stubblefield Repeater Club, KF4UTJ. And Shelbyville, Kentucky is also planning their Field Day this year as well. That will be at the Red Orchard Park Barn, 704 Kentucky Street in Shelbyville, Kentucky. The Department of Defense Mars Cross-Band Test will be held on May 9, 2026. This exercise is open to all amateur radio operators and is a great opportunity to practice your radio skills. For more information, go to dodmars.org/mars-information-website/armed-forces-day.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com. Do you know all the ways to connect to the mighty 745 in Indianapolis, Indiana, the W9 AMT repeater system? On analog, use 146.745 with a minus 0.6 offset and a DCS tone of 346. They are linked to All-Star node number 662640. Brandmeister Talk Group 311800. Use hams over IP and connect dialing 15184 or connect using DV Switch, Mobile, or repeater phone app. Check it out.
Hamfest.
April 25th is the Tusco Amateur Radio Club 2026 Hamfest Computer and Electronics Show at the Tuscarawas County Fairgrounds, 259 South Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover, Ohio. For more information, go to w8zx.net/Hamfest. April 26th is the Athens, Ohio Hamfest at the Athens Community Center, 701 East State Street in Athens, Ohio. For more information, go to ac-ara.org. May 2nd is the Lucas County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Hamfest from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Merchants Landing Bingo Hall, 6182 Summit Street in Toledo, Ohio. The granddaddy of all Hamfests, the Dayton Hamvention, will be held May 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Greene County Fair and Expo Center, 210 Fairground Road in Xenia, Ohio. For more information, go to hamvention.org. August 1st from 8 a.m. to noon is the Letcher County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Mountain Shrine Club, 95 Maryland Drive in Whitesburg, Kentucky. They got lots of door prizes. The 2026 Cincinnati Hamfest and ARRL Great Lakes Division Convention will be held on Saturday, August 15th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Claremont County Fairgrounds, 1000 Locust Street in Owensville, Ohio. Greater Louisville Hamfest will be on September 12th from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Parquet Springs Conference Center, 395 Parquet Springs Drive in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, just off I-65 at exit 117. A number of interesting forums have already been scheduled and some really neat door prizes. For more information, go to LouisvilleHamfest.com.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On April 25th at 8 a.m., the Tusco Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at the Tuscarawas County Fairgrounds, 259 South Tuscarawas Avenue in Dover, Ohio. For more information, email tusco.ve.team@gmail.com. On May 18th at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by going to hamstudy.org/session/NKY-VE. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: KE8BBC, KY4ROD, AC4HI, KD9EYU, WB8VNH, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area, this is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.